Alright, in this video we are going to look at what is a tournament. We're going to cover a few things when looking at what a tournament is. We're going to look at the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how. We'll start with the who. There are going to be multiple squads. These are going to be squads that are representing a multiplicity of different schools, in this case high schools, usually across the state of Kansas. So you can see Wichita East, Emporia High, Salina South, Salina Central, McPherson, Buhler, Nickerson. All these types of schools are going to be there, and those schools are going to be represented by squads. And so each squad is going to be made up of one or more teams. And each team is going to be a two-person set. And so those two-person teams will go up against other teams from other squads throughout the tournament. There are going to generally be one or more of the following divisions. Novice, which means that they have no experience with debate whatsoever. JV, which means they have a little bit of experience, but they're not usually in their third or fourth year of debate. And then open or varsity, which is kind of the top level of debate, the ones where you have the most experience and are ready to kind of have advanced quickly in debate. So what are we going to be doing? We are going to be having debates. There will be multiple squads competing against one another. Some will say there are a lot of different reasons to compete. I say it's for trophies and prestige. There are going to be preliminary rounds that are going to be judged either by a representative from an opposing school, a third-party school. So if you are debating somebody from Hutchinson High, you would be judged by somebody from like Shawnee Mission East, for example. The other way that judges kind of get selected is their community members from the host school. So if let's say Manhattan High is hosting a debate tournament, they're going to go out into the community of Manhattan, Kansas, and they are going to ask people to come and judge debate rounds. And those people will not be able to judge Manhattan teams, and usually Manhattan wouldn't have teams entered into their own tournament. And so those just random sort of unassociated people from the two teams that are competing against each other, or the two teams competing against each other, would be the ones who create sort of a ballot and fill that out, deciding who won and lost the debate. There are also elimination rounds, or an out round. Those things are judged by the same group of people usually. It can be anywhere from 1 to 7, 9. Usually it's going to be 3 critics, and those 3 critics are going to render a decision. Same way as always, it's just another round. It's just going to have more judges usually in out rounds. These tournaments are going to start in mid-September, and then in Kansas, the Nationals will take place in June, and state will be sometime in January. Usually what's going to happen is you'll drive the day of the event, sometimes stay at a hotel, sometimes not, and then you will compete in some rounds, and then you'll come home. If it's a 2-day tournament, you will either have stayed at a hotel, or you will drive up early in the morning and go to the tournament for that second day. Sometimes, however, those tournaments are just 1 day long, and so they'll just be beginning to end on Saturdays. It just kind of depends on how many days the tournament's going to be. In rare instances, outside of nationals, there are tournaments that will have preliminary rounds on Friday and Saturday, and then have elimination rounds on Sunday, but those are super rare. All right. High schools across the state are going to be hosting these tournaments. We will be competing as per the KSHA rules in Kansas. There will be other tournaments happening across the country all the time. And when developmentally appropriate / there's a desire, we will do some online debates against some people outside of the state of Kansas potentially. People show up for debate for a few reasons. Sometimes they are trying to get the attention of coaches to get scholarship money in college. Not an easy thing to do, but sometimes it is a motivation for some students. Some people just find debate really fun, so that's why they come and do it. Some people are just bored and looking for a way to get out of the house. Debate can do that. Glory. I don't know how you want to define glory, but it is, by some definitions, possible via debate. And for some people, you're just ultra competitive and need a competitive outlet. And so you come and compete in a battle of wits. There are two types of rounds. We've kind of already talked about this throughout. The first type of round is called a preliminary round. There will be preset rounds, which the tournament has already dictated who's going to debate whom during that initial debate. And then usually afterwards there will be what's called power matched debates. And power matched debates are where the tournament's going to try to pair two teams with similar records against each other in order to sort of make the best rise to the top and have quality debates for everybody for the entire tournament. Then there are out rounds or elimination. This is bracket play. If you've seen an NCAA tournament, it's very similar to that, although the brackets are much smaller. And so it will be single elimination bracket play. And usually time constraints dictate how many teams will clear or participate in the out rounds after the preliminary rounds have finished for that tournament. So tournaments aren't anything really to be scared of. They're a little bit of time consumption that goes along with them, but it is an exciting thing. It can be exciting, and it's definitely not something you need to sort of be afraid of. We kind of talked about a whole bunch of things about what a tournament is, but generally just know that there are squads representing multiple schools across an area, and that each squad is made up of multiple teams. And those teams will have multiple rounds. Depending on the tournament, it can be 3, it can be 5. It's hard to say, but there will be rounds that those teams will go up against each other. Yeah,